He's one of the most recognizable faces on the planet, a name synonymous with Hollywood glamour. But the story of Brad Pitt isn't just about fame, fortune, and movie star good looks. It's a journey of a small-town boy who gambled everything on a dream, a heartthrob who fought to be taken seriously, and a man who had to lose it all to find himself. This is the real story of Brad Pitt. From the quiet streets of Missouri to the blinding lights of global stardom, a tale of ambition, heartbreak, and quiet redemption. William Bradley Pitt was born on December 18, 1963, not in Hollywood, but in Shawnee, Oklahoma. He grew up far from the flashing lights in Springfield, Missouri, a quiet, conservative town. His father, William, ran a trucking company, and his mother, Jane, was a school counselor. Raised in a traditional Christian home, Brad's childhood was structured and modest. No one in his life could have imagined that this soft-spoken Midwestern boy would one day become a global icon. As a kid, Brad was athletic, but introspective. He played sports and joined school clubs, blending in easily. Yet, he often felt a sense of restlessness, a feeling that his life was meant for something more than the boundaries of his hometown. At Kickapoo High School, he was known as friendly and dependable, not rebellious or flashy. But beneath that calm surface, an unshakable pull toward a bigger world was growing stronger. After high school, he enrolled at the University of Missouri, choosing a practical major, journalism, with a focus on advertising. But just 2 weeks before he was set to graduate, Brad made a decision that would alter the course of his life forever. He packed his car, left Missouri behind, and drove to Los Angeles with only a few $100s and a dream he couldn't even fully explain to himself. Hollywood did not exactly roll out the red carpet. In those early years, Brad Pitt struggled just like countless other aspiring actors. He took on a series of odd jobs to make ends meet, from driving strippers to bachelor parties, and delivering refrigerators to dressing up as a giant chicken for a fast food restaurant. He poured what little money he had into acting classes and went to endless auditions, facing rejection after rejection. There were moments when quitting seemed like the only logical option, but something inside him refused to let go of that dream. His first roles were small and largely forgettable. You might have spotted him in brief appearances on TV shows like Dallas, Growing Pains, and 21 Jump Street. Casting directors often saw his looks before they saw his talent, dismissing him as just another pretty face. But Brad knew he was capable of more. He just had to wait patiently for the right opportunity to prove it. That opportunity arrived in 1991 with the film Thelma and Louise. Brad's role as the charming, cowboy-hatted drifter JD was short, but it was electric. In just a few minutes of screen time, he captured the attention of audiences and Hollywood executives alike. It was a star-making moment. Overnight, Brad Pitt became a sensation. Magazines splashed his face across their covers, and studios lined up, eager to cast him as the next great leading man. But fame came with a price. Throughout the early 1990s, Brad struggled against the heartthrob label that had been thrust upon him. Films like A River Runs Through It, Legends of the Fall, and Interview with a Vampire cemented his status as a handsome leading man. But he felt trapped by roles that focused more on his appearance than his acting depth. He was determined to prove he was more than just a pretty face, so he started taking risks. He deliberately chose darker, unconventional roles that shocked audiences and challenged their perceptions of him. He played a haunted detective in the grim thriller 7, a chaotic mental patient in 12 Monkeys, and the iconic, anarchic Tyler Durden in Fight Club. These films completely redefined his career. He was no longer just a matinee idol. He was a serious, versatile actor willing to explore chaos, pain, and complex psychology. His brilliant performance in 12 Monkeys earned him his first Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe win, finally validating what he had believed all along he belonged. As his career soared, his personal life became an obsession for the tabloids. Every detail of Brad's relationships was relentlessly dissected by the media. His high-profile romance and marriage to Jennifer Aniston in 2000 made them Hollywood's golden couple. They represented beauty, success, and stability. The world watched their every move, from red carpet appearances to casual outings, as if they were living out a real-life fairy tale. But fairy tales are fragile. Behind the perfect smiles and glamorous photos, the immense pressures of fame, conflicting career demands, and personal differences began to erode their marriage. In 2005, the news of their divorce sent shockwaves through pop culture. Almost immediately, The media's attention shifted to his relationship with his Mr. and Mrs. Smith co-star, Angelina Jolie. With Angelina, Brad's life took a dramatic and global turn. Their relationship was intense, passionate, and deeply intertwined with humanitarian work. They adopted children from around the world and welcomed biological children of their own, creating a large, multicultural family. Brad embraced fatherhood completely, often describing it as the most grounding and meaningful experience of his life. For the first time, his identity seemed to extend far beyond just being an actor. Professionally, he continued to evolve. He co-founded the production company Plan B Entertainment, which would quickly become one of the most respected in Hollywood. Through Plan B, he used his influence to produce critically acclaimed and important films like The Departed, 12 Years a Slave, Moonlight, and The Big Short. These were projects driven by artistic integrity and a desire to tell powerful stories, not just to make a profit. His work behind the camera earned him immense respect as a producer and a storyteller. In 2014, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie married in a private ceremony, solidifying a partnership that many believed would last a lifetime. But once again, the reality of their lives proved to be far more complicated than the public image. By 2016, their marriage collapsed in a very public and painful way. Their divorce became one of the most scrutinized separations in Hollywood history, involving bitter custody battles, legal disputes, and suffocating media attention. It was during this period that Brad Pitt faced his lowest moments. He later admitted to struggling with alcohol addiction and a deep sense of emotional disconnection. In candid interviews, he spoke openly about hitting rock bottom. He talked about the painful realization that he needed to take responsibility for his own actions and his part in the breakdown of his family. He made a conscious choice to rebuild himself from the inside out. This period of recovery changed him profoundly. Brad entered therapy, joined Alcoholics Anonymous, and committed himself to sobriety. He learned how to sit with uncomfortable feelings instead of running from them. He learned how to listen, how to grow, and how to accept accountability for his mistakes. For the first time in a long time, he stopped performing for the world and started healing for himself. This personal transformation was reflected in his work. His 2019 performance as stuntman Cliff Booth in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a masterclass in subtlety. It was a grounded, cool, and deeply human portrayal that felt effortless. The role earned him his first Academy Award for acting in 2020. That moment on stage felt less like a victory lap and more like a moment of quiet, hard-earned redemption. Standing there, Brad Pitt was no longer the young man chasing approval. He was a man who had finally found a measure of peace. Today, Brad Pitt is more than a movie star. He is an artist who has faced failure, addiction, heartbreak, and intense public judgment and survived it all. He is a father navigating complex family relationships with a newfound humility. He is a producer shaping meaningful stories for a new generation. And he is a man who understands that success without self-awareness is ultimately empty. From a small town in Missouri to the epicenter of global culture, Brad Pitt's life isn't a perfect story, but it is a real one. A story of ambition, loss, reinvention, and the slow, difficult process of growth. And perhaps that is why, after all these decades, the world is still watching, not because he is flawless, but because he is, in the end, human. Thanks for watching.